the time he died, my father said to me, he said, Jackie, you can't outrun your fate, but you sure as hell gotta try. I didn't really know what he meant back then. See, there was something inside me. Something terrible. Waiting to get out.
My name's Seth Olshfski. I'm a producer at 2K Games, working on The Darkness 2. The art style is something that was born out of a nice, healthy pre-production period, which is great in game development. When you can sit around and say, what's the right thing to make? You can take your time to do that. And the first game was very sort of realistic noir. It was realistic with a high contrast. There's a lot of games out there that are realistic now, and so we took this moment for The Darkness 2 to ask ourselves, okay, we can make it look more real. Is that what we want to do? Is that what will help us tell our story? Is that what will help our gameplay? And in thinking about it, that it really kind of wasn't. You know, there's a joy to the violence in The Darkness 2, and part of that joy comes from being half a step away from realism. There's an excess to The Darkness. If you look at the comics, which is absolutely what our inspiration was, you know, when somebody gets sliced or attacked or, you know, shot, the blood is extreme, it's huge. There's like huge explosions of blood, and the moves are all kind of larger than life. And doing moves that are larger than life in a visual style which is like life, it doesn't really work. It doesn't feel right when you look at it. All over Digital Extreme's offices, all over the 2K offices, we've just got the graphic novels all over the place. We've got Top Cow comic books all over the place, and just zipping through them went, this is awesome. Like, this is the type of story we want to tell visually. This is fantastic. Why don't we try to do this?
The darkness didn't just make Jackie stronger, it made him a god, but only when the lights were out.
This is a real story with characters who are fleshed out, and you need to believe in this world in order to buy in. And the art director and the lead artist really spent some time trying to figure out how to do this. And at one point in time, we're just like, screw it. Let's just hand paint this little corner and make it exactly what we want, and then figure out how we can automate that through the rest of the game later. They created the bright pops of color, they darkened the shadows, they saturated the colors, they made, through hand painting, the world look like they wanted it to. And it was so great, we just said, all right, hand paint the whole thing. I think that it allows the characters to be a lot more expressive. You're pulling it back one step from realism. You don't fall as easily into the uncanny valley. So you can have, one of my moments that I think is great for that, for character expressiveness because of the art style, is when the explosion in the restaurant in the beginning and Vinny's leaning over you and says, oh shit, look at his leg. Vinny's face is really expressive, and you immediately go, this is some guy who's trying to help me. Like, he's conveying emotion not just through his voice, but also through his face. That's hard.
I'm gonna pull you out back, but you gotta take this. Get these guys off our ass.
Okay, I'll talk. Just don't kill me, okay?
And you better start talking.
The Darkness 2 has kind of multiple worlds. There's a lot of layers that we're telling the story on. That was a fun challenge, because if you're telling a story of like a guy who's out to get his revenge, that's hard enough. A guy who's out to get his revenge, who might be crazy, who has an enemy in Victor, who has an enemy kind of in the Darkness. And then there's the ghost of his girlfriend, who we think is dead, probably. And then she's also a nurse. That amount of complication was exactly what we wanted to do narratively. It's one of the things that Paul Jenkins, who's the writer, he wrote a bunch of the comic books. Paul wrote the first game, Paul wrote the second game.
Gotta move now!
The timing of strong moments and the decisions narratively that will wake up a player are the ones that the player doesn't expect.
I wish I did.
Oh shit! Jackie, get down!
Storytelling in games is really kind of, it's difficult in a lot of ways because you don't have as many methods for conveying the story, and it also, the story always unfolds kind of how the player wants to play. So having these moments where we know we can wake up the player and put them somewhere else, those moments were fun. Those moments were great opportunities for us to progress the story and keep people guessing and keep people debating. So is he a crazy guy in the asylum? Or is he the Don of the Mafia who's trying to get fooled by the darkness? There is a moment at the end where you have to pick which side you're on.
Don't you want to stay with me?
So giving the player the opportunity to decide for himself or herself what the right answer is part of why storytelling in games is great.
If anything, that's the real tragedy in all this. See, the mob was still after Jackie. Now, they thought the quickest way to get him would be to take away, his only reason for living. Killing Jenny was just about the dumbest thing the mob could have done. See, because without her, Jackie not only had nothing left to live for, he had nothing left to lose.